Hi there. Today I'm going to talk about geopolitics, following the events happening around the world in general and in Africa in particular. I will be I will spend more time on this Central African sub-region, where you have Cameroon, Nigeria, Chad, and Central African Republic, which are now a complete war zone. It is a war brought about by the owners of the international community under the cover of Boko Haram. Before we go any further, I would like to remind uh, you that the world has been under Western European domination for the last at least 500 years, which has been a complete disaster for us Africans, which started with slavery, colonialism, and post-colonialism we are living in now. This post-colonialism has been very stable up till the end of the 20th century, because after that there has been the emergence of other global powers like China, India, Brazil, and Russia. These countries, they are no longer willing to be dictated to, so they go out and they challenge this global dominance, and they have been very effective in gaining ground against the set to which I will call the United States, UK, France, Germany, Japan, and Italy, called the G7. So these have created a big change around the world, and this change has been felt in Africa with, I would say, very positive outcomes. Yes, the emergence of these global powers in Asia, especially China, has been of a very big help to Africans. It has been a positive boost to the African youth in particular. We have seen a lot of improvement in terms of social mobility. For the first time in the Black African recent history, post colonialization, we have got a lot of people getting rich, which are not in the government, which have never been, their family have never been there, they have never set foot in France or United States or Italy, Spain, Britain. But because of China, they can go there and make big business. They can buy from China, come and sell to Cameroon. They can export to China. They can export to other countries in Asia. They can export to Latin America. And this has changed a lot of things. And those are corridors that are out of, Western European countries' control. And so people are getting used to new ways of doing things. They are getting used to these new opportunities, and their lives are improving, which is what everyone needs. But this is what everyone has been asking for so long. It is because of China that today you can produce whatever you have in Black Africa and put it on the market. People can buy, mainly in Asia, because they need a lot of these minerals. They need a lot of local things, even cotton. Uh, they buy to China to compete on the global stage with NATO countries. And this is very important to everyone. For many years, we have been used to these colonial masters' ways of doing business. They come and take our minerals for free. They lend us money. They make out of the minerals they took from us. The money they lend to us has an interest rate that no one can pay and survive. And out of that, the money they lend to us, we cannot do what we want with it. We cannot invest in education. We cannot invest in youth unemployment. We cannot invest in healthcare. We cannot invest in things that they are not involved in directly. So we have to do exactly what they want us to do with the money. invest in improving the military equipment. So we will buy more weapons from them, tanks and planes that we cannot use, because if they are not happy, a no fly zone, and they will bomb everything down. You can check Ivory Coast or Libya for the records. We have to invest in building very big project that we don't really need, because they can only do big project like building roads that they never really build. So they will have all the contracts. It is an area where we have no expertise on. So they will take the contracts out, and all that money will flow out again. We are left with nothing, only debt, and desperation. Now with China, it is different. They come and say, well, you have this pot of manganese. We can help you extract it. We will build a factory here to build it, to do it. We will build roads to go there, and we will build schools around it. That is a lot of things, my brothers, happening that allows people around, only around that project, to make their life better. This is a completely new world that has been opened to us, and we are getting better and better and better. And since these people, the Chinese, as other Indians and Russians, they need the minerals to grow their economy and compete on the world stage against these ex-colonial, the colonial masters. They they come not with guns, they come with business opportunities. They say, well, on the world stage, a kilogram of gold is 2,000 US dollars. I am willing to pay you to help you extract it, and I will pay you $1,200. When the colonial masters say, why, the gold, the kilogram of gold is 2,000 US dollars, but I will help you extract it, and I will give you $1 per kilogram. And out of that $1, I will not give you cash. I will lend you money, and out of it, I will enslave you by putting a massive debt on it, interest rate on it, and you will be indebted for life. They cannot pay. In their inner mind, deep in them, they cannot imagine that they are paying us for anything at all. How can they? They have been taking everything for free since hundreds of years going back. They cannot afford to be paying to us. They cannot only afford because they are not used to be paying. It's also because they are broke. They are broke and they are desperate. Financially, they cannot compete with China. They are all borrowing from China, just like anyone. They borrow from China and they try to lend to us again. But it's not good, because the interest rate they are giving us, the IMF and the World Bank, it is not competitive. China can give you double that and half the interest rates, even less. So they cannot compete. But they cannot just allow themselves to die like that. They have to put up a fight. And putting up a fight, they have to fight China, not directly, but, first securing exclusive markets where China cannot sell, secure resources where China cannot exploit. This is by putting in place governments they control. And putting in place government the controls, this government will only sign contracts and do business with who they are told to. Here then come the players like Goodluck Jonathan of Nigeria, the Idris Deby of Chad, Paul Biya of Cameroon, which with very, very big reserve on that, because his recent performance has given us, a bit of hope. And by doing this, securing the services of the likes of a client president, as we have known them for years, they have been able to create a situation where they can come without being invited, without any debate. They just impose themselves, and with that they dictate the rules. That is where Boko Haram comes into play. Boko Haram is not there because they want to impose an Islamic rule over Africans. They cannot do it because they themselves they don't know what they are doing. They, they are not there because they don't want Western education, as they claim. Well, if you take out Western education to put back uh, Islamic education again, you have not changed anything for you, African black man. For what we have been waiting for so far from our scholars, our big brothers, is the African way of doing things, our African educations. That is our view. That is what will distinguish us from the rest of the world. We cannot be followers over and over and over again. Let's not forget that before Europeans people uh, broke into Turkey and dominate that area and came down into Africa, uh, that led to the end of the Muslim rules on Africa. Africa has been under Islamic slavery for more than 1,000 years. Western people just came and saw the practice which Muslims were carrying out, and they did it. And when they go out now among themselves, they don't point fingers at each other. They point fingers at the victim. They say, "Oh, Africans were practicing slavery before we came." No, that is not true. Slavery was being practiced by Muslims, Islamists, before the Western people dominated them and came in and just carried on. So they went on with that. They stopped the Islamic spread, and they imposed their Western education upon us with their religion. So our brothers now, they come out and say, no, we don't want Western education, we want Islamic education. You are not changing anything at all. You are not changing anything at all. It is the same thing, different. The problem is that there is no African in that thing. The only African in that thing is the stupid one killing his brother to impose what is not his, what he doesn't decide. In that whole books, the whole, in both sides, being it the Bible or the Quran, there is nothing there written by the black man. It is not our views. They will claim they are black prophets here and there. That is not our way of thinking. Those teachings on both sides are too cruel to be black. So Boko Haram, which just sprung out in the beginning of 2000, is now actually controlling a massive territory in Africa. The area which is under their control is just as big as this yellow area here, the Horn of Cameroon. And that yellow area is almost as big as Benin. And if they put it truly, the Boko Haram is controlling an area just as big as Ghana, you will say. And imagine that they have been there. They cannot be found. They have taken almost 250 girls. No one saw them. Guess what? To take 250 people hostage, you don't need 5 people. No, you need at least twice as much to take them and move around. And you are talking about a crowd being displaced in this area, and they cannot see who is doing it. This is where it is happening. And my brothers, this area here, as you can see, is semi-desertic. That means you cannot hide here properly because there are not tall trees of 40-meter high like in the south of Cameroon or Nigeria, in the Central African equatorial area. No, up here you have little bushes. That is where people go for safari in this area, because you can see clearly from far ahead. They have abducted more than 200 people here. They couldn't find them. They couldn't see them. Up to date, they are still looking for them. And what is also happening is they carry out raids every day. They don't see them. The other recent story, which is really unbelievable, is that they moved in the town of Baga and they killed more than 2,000 people. It is reported 2,000 people being killed. Amazing. My eyes are popping out. If your eyes don't, I will tell you a little thing. For more than 6 months, they have been fighting in Ukraine, in eastern Ukraine. But the toll of death is around 5,000 people, with some exaggeration. In Baga, Doron Baga, a town of they say 15,000 people, just in one evening, Boko Haram came through and killed 2,000 people. Can you believe that? It is just like people were round up in a stadium and there was, a stampede and people, they crushed each other. No, it was not something like that. People were free to run around. And if Boko Haram in one little evening can kill 2,000 people, one, it must be that Boko Haram, they came in occupying the entire area, and that will require at least a 20,000 militants to carry out such operation. And people should be willing to be killed, which was not the case. And three, they will have planned beforehand and asked people to stay put, so they will be killed, which was not the case. People were running. So local reports gives an estimate of below 500 deaths, but Western medias are talking about 2,000, which is out of the mind exaggeration. It cannot be. I have strong doubts about it. 2,000 people is too much. I will have to say, first of all my thoughts to the families and friends and brothers who have lost, their lives and lost relatives there. But this is a big exaggeration. It's an exaggeration which is leading to one thing: war. It is designed to prop up, world opinion that Boko Haram must be stopped immediately. It must be stopped, and send in more weapons. That is what led to Libya, when they were saying Gaddafi every day he's killing 200, 500 people. Oh, in a day they have killed 1,000 people with snipers. And they went in, they bombed everything, they destroyed the country. No, sorry, they didn't destroy the country. They brought democracy to the country. And that type of democracy, me as Cameroonian, as African, I don't want that type of democracy. Leave us as we are. We will sort out our problems. That is the type of thing. They say Saddam Hussein was killing scores of his citizens, and he has weapons of mass destruction for that. They went in, and for 21 years, they have really put down some freedom in Iraq. That is what they were saying again against Syria. Every day they were saying, oh, they have killed 1,000 people. They have killed 800 today. They have killed 2,300 the other day. And boom, they went in, they started a war. My brothers, these things are just set up to destroy the area. They are just coming in to stop us doing business with who we want. They are just coming to impose themselves, because you can see they didn't wait for anyone to invite them. They invited themselves. They invited themselves into the conflict. Can you imagine that back in 2010, when they were all after Laurent Gbagbo of Ivory Coast, Goodluck Jonathan was almost on his knees begging Sarkozy, please allow me to send Nigerian troops there to sort out the problem. And what happened? This same Goodluck Jonathan is still there with the same Nigerian army, and they cannot control a little group of insurgents on his own land. And they were talking about going to a different country to fight people. No, it was not possible. And all this is happening simply because they want it to happen. There is a big political will to bring this chaos upon us. So you look at it properly. On the 17th of May 2014, in Paris, there was a conference about Boko Haram. The problem first is in Cameroon, is in Africa, mainly in Nigeria and Cameroon. But a conference is being held in Paris. And those who were invited were Goodluck Jonathan of Nigeria, Idris Deby of Chad, Paul Biya of Cameroon, Mahamadou Issoufou of Niger, and Thomas Boni Yaye of Benin. All summoned to Paris. The meeting, other attendees were the USA, of course, UK, and France, the host country. Out of that meeting, Goodluck Jonathan, he said this: without Western African countries coming together, we will not be able to crush these terrorists. He said terrorists. Mark this word. Paul Biya, his statement is, we are here to declare war on Boko Haram. He's talking about war. Idris Deby, it will be total war. Idris Deby, when he says war, you have to take him seriously. That man, he knows about war. Chad is a place where they are, in the between war within, a cup of tea. So they are tough people, and when they talk about war, you should think twice before following them. They can follow people like France, UK, and USA. They are warlords, not Cameroonians, not Nigerians. Nigeria has been doing very well recently, very, very well. We were all proud and happy looking up to Nigeria. But now, Goodluck Jonathan has decided that to stay in power, he has to bring in the Western tactics, create chaos, and push back priorities, which is democratic elections, which has been happening in Nigeria for many decades today. They will say, oh yes, the same old generals, they get to power. They do elections, they get to power and they get out. Let's just remember, everyone, that Nigeria has been the only African country that took $3 billion in cash and went to this IMF and World Bank to pay their debt. And they were saying they were corrupt. Yes, those are corrupt people who think about their own people, about their own country. No other country which was not taxed as corrupt has paid such such thing. Only Nigeria has done it in recent memory. Only Nigeria. And now we have Goodluck Jonathan, who is bringing in this Boko Haram thing. When all this war started in Ivory Coast and Libya, Nigerian former President Olusegun Obasanjo was saying that, well, if we think that what is happening to Libya is going to stay to Libya and not have any repercussion in the African sub-region, we are actually, telling lies to ourselves. We don't know what will happen, but what we know is that it will not be good. That is what he was saying. And now you have got these people who wants to be seen in the club with the likes of Sarkozy and others joining and say terrorist, war, total war. When the United States, UK, talk about war or terrorism, that means destruction. It means destruction far from their own lands. And those who are in the war zone are left with very, very little hope, because they truly destroy everything there, everything. Although Boko Haram is currently operating in the north of Nigeria, this puppet group can easily run into any of these 5 countries and potentially carve out a territory out of them. I strongly hope they don't. I strongly hope they fail to do that. As we are talking, Boko Haram is master of this area here. They run their businesses here untouched. They run their businesses untouched. Here, these are images, satellite images, seen from the sky. You can see a house there. If it was live, you could actually see people moving. You could see people moving. But Boko Haram is operating in this area. They cannot notice them with those satellites. They cannot. But see the details of the satellite images. And they are there to look for Boko Haram. They are searching Boko Harams. For years, they cannot see them. But they are there. Looking at this map, this is Chad up here. This is Niger, Cameroon, and Nigeria. Up here, France has a military base. The United States has another military base here where they operate a drone surveillance base. Their drones fly from there to go into Libya, Algeria, Niger, Cameroon, and all over. They see everything there. So you imagine something happening like that in Baga. It doesn't take 5 minutes to be known at the Nigerian presidency. And it will not take as much to be known there at the military headquarters in France and the United States. So it is a no time deployment to reach the area. But Baga was attacked in the evening, and they took time there till down in the dark to attack the people again, and nothing happened. They are holding people up. They don't want to intervene. As I said, their goal is to create chaos. When there is chaos, they reign. They stay there and they tell people what to do. Now, the impact on all this, as I'm saying, they will tell us what to do, is that this area here, being a war zone, has a very big and negative consequences on all these other countries: Gabon, Guinea, Congo, Central African Republic, Nigeria. Niger and Chad here, mostly Niger, depend on Nigerian port to import and export their goods. Cameroon here is the door for Central African Republic, Chad, and Equatorial Guinea. As you, when this war will go on, the ports of these countries will have to be taken over by the USA, France, and the United Kingdom military operations. Military hardware will have priority. And military hardware having priority, when they are being stationed on your own territory, they have a high priority in terms of security. You cannot allow anyone in. You cannot sign contracts with China or with Brazil just like that, because there are other sensitive nations that can get access to sensitive information. So they have to dictate who come in and who goes out, who comes in and who goes out. That is what will happen. And right now, I started this video a couple of weeks back, and as I was saying, the economic impact will be very huge on the local population, because they will have to raise taxes in order to fight war. Because remember that these people, they take our minerals without giving us money. So money, we have to bleed to give them the money. So every little thing you do, you will have at least 70% of tax increase in Cameroon to fight that war. A war which is not ours. A war that, if they leave those people to local population, we will deal with them accordingly. We don't need those people to fight them. Recent history has shown that they are not able, they are not capable or unwilling to fight terrorism. They don't know how to fight them. They have been to Libya. It is now a complete chaos. It is a failed state, no-go zone. They have been to Syria, destroyed completely. They have been to Afghanistan. You can know by yourself. They have been to Libya. Don't just ask. They have been in Ivory Coast. They have cut it into two. Everywhere they go to fight terrorism, they go to bring death and destruction, total destruction. That is what they talk about total war. It is total destruction. And those who will pay for years to come, for decades to come, are local people, local population who knows nothing about this. We are just being used. We shouldn't be involved into these things. So let's just look at what these people are doing. You come here, this is the current map of Africa in fire. They started in Ivory Coast and they moved up to Libya. They bombed Libya and killed Gaddafi. A lot of people were saying, no, Gaddafi was a dictator, he has to leave. Even Africans, they used to say that. Well, this will come like a surprise for you. They are all dictators out there. They are all dictators. Even in places where they shift after 4 or 8 years, they are dictators. So it is only when you have a good dictator or a bad dictator. A good dictator is the one who has the interests of his own country and people at heart. A bad dictator is the one who will serve anyone, everyone, but his own people. And in Libya, it was the case. They bombed Libya to oblivion. It is not a country anymore. It is completely destroyed. That's repercussion of the war moved into Algeria, southern Algeria and northern Mali. Northern Mali started just like, oh, we wanted to create a state there. And immediately there was a coup. A coup in a country which has been a democratic powerhouse for many years. There was a coup done by who? Carried out by who? By a captain who was who went to military training in the United States. Those are the people carrying coup in Africa. And the same thing happened there in Burkina Faso just recently, few months back. They are same people who have been to the United States to having training there. Those are the same. They come and then, woof, they are very democratic and they are immediately supported by their masters. So the effect, the repercussion of the Libya destruction, that is what it has led to. Algeria, Mali, in fire Niger, Chad there, Nigeria, Boko Haram, Central African Republic, because people can't freely find weapons. Here they have cut Sudan into two, created South Sudan. They are still fighting. They don't know what is happening to themselves. These are all places in fire. In Kenya, they have to judge the president by every means possible. Every day now we have a terrorist attack. In Somalia, that has ceased to be a state since when Bill Clinton decided to bomb it and find the General Edi. That was back then in the late 80s. So now we have got the same. You look at this map. They are now here. This area here in purple is Iraq and Syria. They are actively fighting here. They are there to destroy what they call ISIS, the Islamic State. And they are fighting ISIS there. At the same time, they are providing militants to ISIS. They train people here in Libya. They carry them out to Turkey. And from Turkey, they move them into Syria to fight. They provide them with weapons. So, and these same people, when they are here in Libya, they pay them, they train them, they treat them well. And when they move into that area, they become enemy. They are fighting them. And guess what? There is a big surprise. When they go to bomb these people there, they always mistakenly have missed them and they bomb the Syrian positions instead. They never bomb them. Even when they say they are throwing help to Syrian opposition, that help and money, weapons, everything, mistakenly by magic always. They do these errors all the time, you know. It is not perfect. It always falls in the hands on these Islamic militants. So, these same people who have been trained here in Libya, they are the same who come here in northern Nigeria and Cameroon. And here then, they find them, they want to kill them. You will be surprised that after 10 years they will not find them, and they will bomb this place out completely. And when they bomb them, we have to pay them for it. Well, that is what I'm talking about. When they come, they don't do, trade business. No, they do war business. They come to sign military cooperations. Just after this declaration was made, the United States, they moved their tanks into the area, and they were talking about with the UK military cooperation with Nigeria. They signed it. You have to remember that Nigeria has always been very independent in terms of its local politics. They always run their own businesses. But this new president has decided to change things and bring in people he cannot fight against. It 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 is a word of barbarism. The stronger one dominates, and you cannot sit and eat at the table with the stronger one if you are not just as strong. And we know that Goodluck Jonathan is not that strong, so he's taking orders.